Hi, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings and the Bias Plus reports. Today is August 2nd, 2023. Welcome to August, Benny. And this is Ben and Barry on football.
Hello out there. This is your co-host, Ben Dickerson. Welcome to August means welcome to preseason football. We got action tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Hall of
Benny.
Fame game.
We
Let's
got
go.
action. However, we don't know who's actually going to play, but it's
I'm
football.
just excited that things are starting. I hate preseason games.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And, since we've been watching USFL and XFL and stuff, these are guys who are probably,
Yeah, they'll be playing.
just some of them will be playing. Some of these guys that are playing are going to wind up in the USFL, XFL, because they're going to have to get down to 53 men this month. There's a lot of stuff going on this month, operationally with the NFL in terms of dates and things of that nature, when they have to have their rookies signed, and if the rookies aren't signed, and what they can and cannot do, and things of that nature. But the main one is just getting down to the 53, 54 man roster, and then picking their practice squads, because they have to have all of that stuff together this month. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and you got some guys trying to come up from the USFL and XFL, and you might have some guys going back down to the USFL and XFL. But what we want to do today is just talk a little bit more about this Hall of Fame game that we have and the Hall of Fame enshrinement. So I do have some information on the enshrinees. What's funny? One of the enshrinees, and that was really drawing my attention, and it kind of, threw me off schedule. As I was already off schedule, but threw me more, was Don Coryell.
Wow. Air Coryell.
I mean, the names that came up with him, like him coaching under Madden, for example, But the thing about it was, and this is what I had to go back and take just a quick look, they didn't win any championships.
Never.
And I look back to see what's, some of their best years, and then one year that I took a look at, going into, I think it was the divisional playoffs against Bum Phillips. And who was that? The Texans that he called Houston
Oilers.
The Houston Oilers, who were tremendous underdogs. Apparently, they were without like starters all over the place, and came in and beat Don Coryell and his team by like a field goal. And I was like, wow, but it was amazing, to see some of the people that he was under. So we're going to talk. I have a little a page that I'll be sharing from the NFL, and it has a great blurb on them, which kind of takes you through their career real quick. But it kind of hits some of the powerful points of their career, So let's get ready to kick that off, unless you got anything else you want to say beforehand.
No, go ahead. Let's go.
Well, Benny, you had a barber that played for you, right? Played for your team.
Twin brother.
The twin brother of one Rondé Barber. Hall of Fame finalist. I'm not sure when they say this year of eligibility. I don't know if that means he's had 6 years of eligibility where they passed over him like 6 times, and now he finally got, made it into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I believe that means he's been eligible for 6 years. I believe that's what that means.
Well, wait till you see the next guy. But let's stick with Rondé for a second here. Cornerback safety, 5'10", 186. Played his entire career, Benny, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
1997 to 2012. I mean, 16 seasons with one team. That's almost a record or something, isn't it? Like it don't
I
happen
don't know about
anymore.
that.
Well, maybe not a record in terms of the entire career of the NFL, but let's if you're looking at modern day NFL,
That's a big number.
that's a big number. Yeah, for one team. Holy mackerel, Coming out of Virginia, a third round draft pick, 66 overall in 1997 out of Virginia. Played in 241 regular season games over those 16 seasons. Started 215 consecutive games, 224 if you count in the postseason. Finished his career with 47 regular season interceptions for 923 yards and 8 touchdowns, all Tampa Bay franchise records. Total 14 defensive and special teams touchdowns, 8 INTs, 4 fumble recoveries, 2 in special teams. Twice intercepted 3 passes in the game and 6 times forced at least 2 turnovers in the game. NBA all-time leader in sacks for a cornerback. Only player in NFL history with at least 45 interceptions and 25 sacks. 3-time All-Pro, selected to 5 Pro Bowls, member of the NFL's All-Decade Team in the 2000s, led the NFL with 10 interceptions in 2001, led the Bucks in interceptions 6 times, voted team captain 9 times, Buccaneers winner, Ed Block Courage Award 2011. Full name, Jamal Oronde Barber. Oronde. What are your thoughts on Oronde, Benny?
First of all, that was back in the day when men were men and defensive coaches actually blitzed their corners from time to time.
Oh, okay.
You won't see that anymore.
Don't see too much of that, eh?
You don't see too much of that at all anymore.
Wow.
Corner blitz used to be in everybody's playbook.
Okay.
And corners used to tackle. before Dion said they don't pay me for that. That's
And he made that move from cornerback to safety. Or did he go from safety to cornerback? Usually it's cornerback to safety.
Usually it's cornerback to safety, but I remember him late in his career still playing some corner. I think they didn't make him a safety. I think they made him like a nickel corner.
Okay.
So he played like a slot guy or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also the thing about Rondé was he played big in big games.
Absolutely.
He played big in big games. So Rondé Barber, Hall of Fame finalist. Now, remember when I said year of eligibility, Benny?
Yes.
36 years of eligibility here for Don Coryell. And he was a finalist 7 times. That's like a heartbreaking run right there.
Wow.
73 to 77 with the St. Louis Cardinals, 78 to 86 with the San Diego Chargers. 14 seasons, 195 games coming out of Washington. Let's see now. He was born in 1924, Benny. Jimmy Christmas, died in 2010. They say he revived the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Diego Chargers and led both franchises to the playoffs.
Yes.
They hadn't been doing anything for a while there, huh?
Both teams.
Both teams.
Yes, the Cardinals were on hard times when he brought them back in St. Louis.
Okay. Now, were you aware of him as a head coach back when he was doing this stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay, then I'm going to finish this off, and I really want to hear what you have to say about it because, again, I'm one of those guys, that wasn't, I wasn't as aware of who was coaching or who was the GM and all of that. AP's NFL Coach of the Year in 74, okay. UPI and PFW's NFC Coach of the Year. So he had that, led the Cardinals to the 74 and 75 NFC East divisions. So the Cardinals were in the NFC East back then, eh?
Yes.
Okay. He got the Chargers into the AFC West division in 79 and 81, known for his Air Coryell offensive strategy that would lead the league in passing yardage 7 times in 9 seasons. He won 100 games coaching in both collegiate and professional, so over 100 in both levels. Future Pro Football Hall of Fame coaches Joe Gibbs and John Madden served as college assistants under him. And he's a member of the College Football Hall of Fame and was in the Army. 36 years, Benny.
Yeah. His major contribution to the game of football was his passing attack. So prolific a passing attack that, like you said, they led the league for several years. Would you say 7 out of 9?
Something like that, yeah.
For air yards. So much so that they named the offense after him, Air Coryell. Air Coryell was no joke. Like when you watch the commercial during the week for the game coming up on Sunday, they would say the Minnesota Vikings versus Air Coryell. That's how prolific they were through the air. 3 wide receiver sets before they were real popular. You know, most teams played 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 2 backs, a fullback and a halfback most of the time back in those days. I think they tossed out the fullback. Sometimes they tossed out the tight end. They brought 3 wides, and they just went for it, man. Dan Fouts was pulling the trigger.
Now, they had a Hall of Fame tight end, didn't they?
Kellen Winslow.
Yeah.
The original first Kellen Winslow, yes. Dad, yeah.
The dad. Yeah, so amazing, man. Don Coryell, 36 years. I'm just glad that he got in. But wait, 36? How about 45, Benny?
And they put these guys in posthumously because they made them wait so long. Sometimes you wonder, like, when these guys come up and like this guy's been waiting 45 years, you go, wow, I wonder why he had to wait so long. I wonder about that. Like, there are some players that obviously are first ballot guys. They just put up such huge numbers. They win multiple rings. They're really great players. And that kind of bumps some of these older guys down. But I'm glad to see that they haven't forgotten about these guys. Like you said, he was a finalist several times, right? How many times was Chuck?
No, he was only a finalist once.
Chuck Howley was a finalist only once? That's terrible.
Air Coryell, now Don Coryell was several times he was a finalist. Right. Out of 36 years. But so 45 years, they're like, oh, we forgot about Chuck Howley. Bam, he's in.
Wow.
But you know,
he was a big time Dallas Cowboy in their heyday.
And apparently in the Chicago Bears, 6'3", 228, Benny, out of West Virginia, first round, 7th overall pick in 1958. 3-time All-Southern Conference selection and Conference Player of the Year in 1957 at West Virginia. Selected 7th overall, we said that. Retired after 2 seasons following what was considered a career-ending knee injury during training camp in 1959. And you know how knee injuries could kill your career back in those days.
Right.
But he decided to make a comeback in 1961, after playing in the West Virginia alumni game and went to Dallas. He was traded.
Hold on. Oh, wait. He retired from the NFL, sat around for a little while, got invited to an alumni game, drank some beers, realized he could still run, and made it back into the NFL.
This is why you got to read these things, man.
Bro, that's amazing. This guy got up off his couch. You can't tell me they weren't drinking beers at the alumni game.
I'm sure they were.
He's like, you know what? My knee feels better. I'm going to make a comeback.
Yeah. That's the
wow. Wow.
So he goes back to the Bears. He's like, I'm ready to come back. They're like, okay. And they trade him to Dallas. He go play for them.
Yeah, they didn't believe in him. He had a good career. How long was he with Dallas?
Man, listen, first off, he was named MVP of Super Bowl V, making him the first defensive player and non-quarterback to win the award.
Amazing.
He holds the distinction of being the only player from a losing team to be named MVP of the Super Bowl.
I remember that. Amazing. This is a guy that unretired from a major knee injury.
Oh, man.
Do something that nobody had done, and as far as I know, has done since.
Really? You know?
Unbelievable.
So Chuck Howley, Bears and
He belongs in just for that.
Look, let me tell you. So, one Joe Klecko, Benny, out of Temple. Hall of Fame finalist, year one, year of eligibility, 30. He had 30. Defensive end, defensive tackle, and nose tackle. 6'3", 263. Played for the Jets and the Colts. Played 12 seasons. Was a 6th-round pick in 1977. He teamed, when he was with the Jets, he was there with Abdul Salam, Mark Gastineau, and Marty Lyons, and they were known as the New York Sack Exchange.
Sack Exchange. Yes. I remember them too. The New York Sack Exchange.
He was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 81, led the league with 20 and a half sacks. First year All-Pro honors twice, named the 4 Pro Bowls, moved to nose tackle in 85, and became the second player in NFL history after Frank Gifford, the old Packers, to be selected to the Pro Bowl at 3 different positions. One of only.
Whoa. I got to stop you. I hate to do this to you. You said Frank Gifford, and what'd you say after that?
I said Green Bay Packers.
Frank Gifford is a New York Giant through and through.
I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Blasphemy.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
So sorry. So sorry.
Oh man.
Man, so sorry. Okay.
Sorry, y'all.
Offended the NYG. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking, okay. Anywho, now that we got that straight, selected to the Pro Bowl at 3 different positions. Him and Frank Gifford, the only ones to do that.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm listening to all this stuff you're saying, and I'm thinking, how did it take these guys this long to get in? He was player of the year. He had records. He had 20 sack season. Come on. These guys should have been in.
They said one of only 5 Jets to have his jersey number retired, along with Dennis Byrd and Hall of Famers Joe Namath, Don Maynard, Curtis Martin, and he was inducted into the Temple University School Hall of Fame in 1987. Temple. All right. We Philly guys, so, we got to give Temple. Now, one Darrelle Revis, HOF finalist, 1 year of eligibility, 1.
That means he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, as he should have been.
That's what it means there.
Or as he should be.
5'11", 198 cornerback, Benny. He was with the Jets and the Buccaneers and the Patriots and the Jets and the Chiefs. 11 seasons, 145 games, came out of Pittsburgh. First round, 14th overall back in 2007.
He's from Aliquippa.
From Aliquippa, PA. Yes, he is. Aliquippa. Let's see now. As I looked at this, he started at cornerback for 16 games for the Jets at his rookie year and got a spot on the all-rookie team. Started left corner for New England and had 1 sack, 1 solo tackle for the Patriots in their win over Seattle in Super Bowl. What would this be? 49, if my Roman numerals don't fail me. First team All-Pro, 4 seasons, selected to participate in 7 Pro Bowls. That was back when the Pro Bowl was a Pro Bowl, I believe, before we
Yeah, a little bit.
named to the NFL All-Decade Team, the New York Jets MVP in 09 and 11, finished his 11-year career with 29 interceptions, 3 returned for TDs, 139 passes defensed. In 2009, he led the NFL in passes defense with 31 and second in the NFL Player of the Year voting in 2009. So, and they didn't even mention Revis Island.
Oh, you'll hear that during his speech.
During the speech. I mean, they had Air Coryell, so if we're going to throw out, legacy names, got to have Revis Island thrown in there a little bit. I mean, that's what it was. And it was funny because it was what the Niners, and I guess the Cowboys probably to some degree did with Dion when we got him.
Right.
All right, you got that over there. You 4. Y'all handle that over on the other side.
Right. I'm going to take care of this side. Y'all do what you want over there.
I got you covered. All right, let's look at the next one up, Ben. 35 years of eligibility.
Ken Riley.
Finalist 11 times. Now, that's got to be tough. 5'11", 181 cornerback Ken Riley played, looks like his entire career with the Cincinnati Bengals. Out of Florida A&M, he's a FAMU Rattler, baby.
There you go.
Alumni. 6th-round draft pick out of Bartow, Florida. Known by nicknames the Rattler, Mr. Bengal, and Mr. Consistency, selected by the Bengals. We talked about that when he was selected. He played quarterback at Florida A&M, and they converted him to a cornerback. So that was one of those days back then.
When they told black quarterbacks they need to change positions.
Change positions, right.
Yep.
1969. And he did it successfully. Played 15 seasons over 3 decades, 207 NFL games, 65 interceptions, AP All-Pro in 83, AP All AFC, 75 and 76. Held or shared 6 Cincinnati team records through his final season with the Bengals. Led the team in kickoff return yardage his rookie season. Now, that's a hell of a quarterback who's leading the league in kickoff return yardage. Earned the AFC interception title in 76, 82, and 83. Led the Bengals in interceptions 7 times. Ranked 5th, tied with one Charles Woodson of the Green Bay Packers, I do believe, right? Am I wrong with that? Or is that
Charles Woodson? Yeah, played for the Packers and the Raiders.
And the Raiders. Tied with Woodson on the NFL career interceptions list. Described by Hall of Fame coach Paul Brown as, quote, a model football player and a real gentleman that youngsters would do well to pattern themselves after. Out of FAMU, Ken Riley. All right. That was before the coach that you despised went was coaching the Bengals. I do. Right?
What was that?
The
coach I despise.
For the Bengals. Who was the coach?
Who's Sam White?
No, the coach for the Bengals, the black coach.
Oh, no, that's way before his time.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, before him.
Yeah, no. This guy played for the Bengals when the Niners beat him in the Super Bowl. He was on a couple of Super Bowl teams that didn't win.
That didn't win. Wow, that makes it even more poignant for me, Jerry Rice took him, I guess, or somebody got him.
Yeah, somebody got him.
Somebody got him. Ken Riley. Let's talk about Joe Thomas. He is a one guy, first year of eligibility, right on in there, offensive tackle. 6'6", 312. 2007 to 17 with the Browns. That's 11 seasons with one team out of Wisconsin. First round, 3rd overall, Benny. Offensive.
Yeah. This guy came in was predicted to be a great player and turned out to be a great player.
Outland Trophy winner. Consensus All-American senior year.
Great college career, great pro career.
I'm telling you. Started left tackle all 16 games for the Browns his rookie season. Man. Finished second at AT Offensive Rookie of the Year, voting to one Adrian Peterson. If you got to lose, you know.
Yeah, really.
Especially as a lineman. Wow. He played
That's how good he was. He finished second as a left tackle.
As a left tackle. He played an NFL record 10,363 consecutive snaps. Wow.
Iron Man on top of that.
He allowed only 30 sacks in his career. Despite facing Hall of Fame sack specialists and many teams' top pass rushers. First offensive lineman in NFL history to be named to the Pro Bowl in each of his 10 seasons. First team All-Pro honors, 6 seasons. Second team All-Pro, 2 seasons. Named the NFL All-Decade team. Well known for his involvement in the community. Selected to the Cleveland Browns. Walter Payton, Man of the Year, 3 times. Not 1 time, not 2 times, 3 times. Not even consecutive years. It wasn't like he was on the roll, 2010, 2012, and 2016. So he was working over a period of time. Joe Thomas, congratulations. I don't know if these guys are related, but now we got Zach Thomas.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So he's been a finalist 4 times in his 10 years of eligibility. As a linebacker, he's 5'11", 235. Played with the Dolphins and the Cowboys out of Texas Tech. Drafted in the 5th round. Out of Texas. Versatile and instinctive middle linebacker. Let's see, had 3 passes intercepted for 64 yards, 1 touchdown, 131 tackles, 49 assisted tackles, 2 sacks to earn teams MVP honors and named AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year in '96. Led the Dolphins in tackles for 10 seasons. Let's see, amassed 22 tackles in 2001, in a playoff game against the Ravens. So he's down there in Dolphin land. Let's see now, this time frame that we're looking at. Okay. He was born in 73. Okay. So he played for the 1996. So he was well before the two. Okay. Just want to make sure he wasn't around that time when they went undefeated.
No, he wasn't on that team.
No. So, I mean, Zach Thomas, 10 years, finally brought in. Next up is DeMarcus Ware. And I believe that's it. 2 years of eligibility, a finalist both times. Linebacker D at 6'4", 258 for the Cowboys and the Broncos. 12 seasons out of Troy State. A first round, 7th overall pick. Came in 2005, it says, as an underdog with something to prove. Yet he started all 16 games at right outside linebacker. Led the Cowboys in sacks for 8 seasons. Led the NFL with 20 sacks in 2008. And 2010, he had 15 and a half, I guess also the lead. Played with only 1 team with a losing record during his career. And helped lead his team to 5 playoff appearances. Started weak side linebacker for the Broncos Super Bowl 50 victory over the Panthers. Is he the one giving one of them guys giving Cam hell in that Super Bowl?
Nah, that wasn't Cam's Super Bowl.
That wasn't Cam's Super Bowl?
No, the Panthers made it before that.
All right.
Panthers made it with Kerry Collins, believe it or not.
Mm. Still holds the Cowboy career sack record with 117. Voted first team All-Pro 4 times, second team All-Pro 3 times, 9 Pro Bowls, NFL's All-Decade Team of the 2000s, won DeMarcus.
Oh, right, DeMarcus Ware. Yeah, that he was on camp. Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't
I
on
got my Super Bowls mixed up. It's
Okay.
funny. I was just having a conversation with somebody about. They were asking me about when the expansion draft, and I said the last 2 expansion teams were the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Carolina Panthers, and both of those teams have really good years. Only a couple of years after their inception. And the reason for that was, or part of the reason for that was, the expansion draft. They brought these 2 new teams in because there was 30 teams in the NFL. They were the last 2. They had expansion draft just for those teams, where every other team in the NFL had to designate a certain number of players, maybe 5 players, that you can have them if you want them.
Oh, right. I kind of remember that.
You know what I mean? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got good really fast. Tom Coughlin won the Super Bowl with my Giants. He coached one of those Jaguar teams.
Okay.
I think they made it to the AFC Championship before they got beat by somebody. And Panthers actually made it to the Super Bowl. It wasn't Kerry Collins. Oh, it was I can't remember the quarterback. But anyway, but they lost. They didn't win. But yeah, they got there. So okay, so we got a nice class. Couple first ballot guys who deserve it, or at least one, Revis, and a couple old timers who, when you read their stats and their information, let you know, yes, they did deserve it. You know, sometimes when these older guys go in, or they go in after they passed away, or people can't even remember them because it was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you read their accomplishments, you go, wow, this guy really deserves to be in. So this looks like a really good class.
It does. Now, Roger Craig was the only one that I was looking for to make it as a finalist that didn't.
He didn't make it.
So we'll look for him to be there next year again. And again, some of these guys, man, 45 years.
But we have to have the discussion one day when we don't have nothing else to talk about. We need to sit on here and argue about who's Hall of Fame worthy and who's not. I like doing that with you because you be like, did he win the Super Bowl? Put him in.
Well, you
like, what?
it's about what Dion said now.
Guess what? He made a point. They need to have like upstairs or something. He said they need an upper room. The upper room should be a Hall of Fame and a Hall of Pretty Good.
That's what he said. Dion is. Let's take a quick look at the Facebook page, Benny. Take a quick look at the Facebook page. Starting out, well, we were talking about Hall of Famers, and they were talking. Now, have you followed this story? Ozzie Newsome potentially being put in the Hall of Fame twice.
I read this article. So the guy that wrote it, that it sounds like this is his opinion, but he gave information on why that was his opinion, and it sounded doggone good to me. This guy, oh my goodness.
So what were the two different, because he's in already once, right?
He's already a Hall of Fame player. Okay. He kind of, I don't want to say he revolutionized the tight end position, but he's in there. When you talk about the old heads that played tight end and made it a really, really essential position on offense to where it's morphed into now with the Travis Kelce's and the Mark Andrews and the Kittles. Shannon Sharp will tell you in a second. Ozzie Newsome's his man. You know, John Mackey, Ozzie Newsome, those guys showed that tight ends are more than just an extra offensive tackle blocking in the running game.
Right.
These guys can run, they can get downfield, they got hands, and they can break tackles. And that's what Ozzie Newsome was. But then he retired, started his second career as a front office guy, first for the Cleveland Browns, the team he played for, and then the Baltimore Ravens when the owner moved the team from Cleveland to Baltimore. His list of accomplishments on draft day, the All-Pros and Hall of Famers that he's drafted, it's unbelievable. This guy is a Hall of Fame GM too. So if such a thing could happen, he's the guy that would make it happen. Or he's the guy it should happen to.
Okay. All right. That's so interesting to think about because, yeah, as a GM, I mean, the Ravens teams that, you know, that he's put together
some great squads. Both their Super Bowls have a lot to do with him.
Yeah. Now, he's retired now. I forget, who do we list as the GM for the Ravens now?
Oh, man, that's a hard question, man. I can't remember that.
Well, I'm going to tell you in a second because, believe it or not, I actually have the information.
Yeah, we just did the brain trust for the Ravens.
That's what I'm saying. I actually have some.
So I know you have that right in front of you.
From the brain trust. So we want to look at the Ravens, right? GM Eric DeCosta.
Okay.
All right. So that's some big shoes to fill, Benny.
Huge.
Yeah, you're going to come in and take the place of a guy who maybe a Hall of Famer the next year or two for the job he did in this title that you're taking over. So it'll be interesting. But look, he got himself a new offensive coordinator. He got a new contract with his number one quarterback, with the man that you know, and the Ravens might make some hay this year. We shall see. We shall see. All right, that was Mr. Ozzie Newsome. Benny, we cover all types of football, and one of the things that the Pro Football Hall of Fame is called the Pro Football Hall of Fame and not the NFL Hall of Fame.
That is correct.
And that's because it kind of expands a little bit beyond the NFL, kind of like Ben and Barry does. So we have here with some kudos and congratulations to the Women's Football Alliance. And the reason is they had a tremendous television viewership for their national championship. I am sad to say I missed that. I didn't. It says ESPN2. I don't remember seeing it. But I will say this. I saw an article recently where a young lady retired.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Was she massive or what?
She was a big girl.
I was like, holy mackerel.
And didn't she play like 15 years or something?
She played a long time. Yeah. She played a long, long time, man. So, I mean, I'm looking at number 20 here in the picture, but I think she was bigger than her.
Yeah, she's bigger than her.
But anyway, congrats to the Women's Football Alliance. And now we know a little bit more about why it's not the NFL Hall of Fame, but the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So let's throw out a few individual congrats, Benny. Josh Hammond of the DC Defenders got a chance. He's going to get a tryout with the Broncos. This is what it's all about. You know, when you see these opportunities, these guys get a chance to play at one level and get a chance to show what they can do. And then they get an opportunity. The door opens, the door opens.
Right.
That's what we love to see. Congrats to Sal Cannella of the Arlington Renegades. He's getting a shot with the Vikings. Yeah, man.
Sal Cannella, I know that name.
Well,
You look some of these guys up, they've already been in camps and stuff before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely.
They've been in camps, they've been on practice squads.
Yes,
so this is a great opportunity for me to get a chance to maybe stick.
That's why I said in the introduction, you got some guys that'll be going up from these leagues, and then you got some guys that'll be going down to these leagues, So, I mean, and that's an ego thing that once, that they'll have to deal with, but these guys are making it work, and they're fighting a fight to stay in to get that opportunity with the NFL. So, Benny, when you guys are doing fantasy football, are the running backs cheaper?
No.
No?
No.
So fantasy doesn't follow reality then, eh?
Well, I would say fantasy does follow reality. Okay? Because the reality is you're not going to win nothing without a run game. And the better the running back, the better your offense is going to flow. Everybody knows you need a run game to have a balanced offense. And you need a good running back to help carry your offense. Otherwise, your quarterback is going to be in trouble. So fantasy players understand that. There was a time, and that time sort of kind of still does exist, but not as strongly as it did maybe not that long ago. It's beginning to change just over the last couple of years, where most of the top running backs were drafted in the first and second rounds of fantasy drafts. Everybody went after running backs first. Everybody, all the time. And if you didn't, you're going to lose.
Oh.
Simple as that. You got to have a good running back on your fantasy team. And two, if you're smart, or you're not going to win. You're just not going to win. I remember winning fantasy championships and dominating leagues during the Marshall Faulk era. I had Marshall Faulk on one of my teams, and I franchised him. It was keeper league. I franchised him like 6 years in a row, and I was crushing people just because I had Marshall Faulk. Sean Alexander had a run in fantasy that was awesome.
I can imagine.
I won so much money. It's crazy. It was crazy. And Marshawn had a little run. He didn't have a big run. Adrian Peterson had a freaking run, like 5 years, where he was destroying. If you had him on your team, people in the league was like, we already know you going to win.
Oh, my goodness. It's like
that's how good, that's how many points they put up.
Now, you mentioned Marshall Faulk. And I know, we're talking fantasy, but, my Madden. And I always tell people this because I always thought it was the most amazing thing. When I'm playing Madden with my next door neighbor, right? This is a number of years back. He's a young man now. He might have been 8 to 10 years old or something like that back then. So he playing with the Rams, right? And I'm looking at him. He takes the starting quarterback out and he puts Marshall Faulk in at quarterback.
Smart kid.
And proceeds
like, why not
dominate my butt?
Yeah, he's like, why bother with a handoff? Let's not waste time.
Throw the ball.
He can throw the ball, yeah.
Throw the ball. He could do everything. If it was a skill, he had it.
Yeah.
So I can imagine if you had Marshall Faulk as a running back. And I look at football like it's like some military thing. It's a ground, you know what I mean? You got to take the other person's, territory. You got to have a ground attack. You got to have an air attack.
Right.
You have a speed attack. You got to have a power attack.
Right.
And sometimes you got to send in the tanks. Sometimes you send in the quick stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nowadays you send in the drone, but we haven't figured that one out yet for the NFL. In any event, yeah, I can imagine, man. So, but now is running back the first thing you pick in today's game?
Let me put it to you this way. I've already done several drafts in some free leagues, okay? So the top 10 players Of the top 10 most heavily drafted players, McCaffrey, Barkley, and Austin Eckler are usually either in the top 10 or in the top 15. And the rest is receivers because there's so many good receivers now. Quarterbacks, nobody thinks about quarterbacks till third round.
Really?
That quarterback, well, yeah, there's always some knucklehead that takes Mahomes in the first round.
It's interesting that you say this because
that person usually loses.
In my experience, gamers sometimes precede the decision making of the actual coaches in the NFL. We had that conversation when we used to go back and forth about whether or not if you win the toss, you go ahead and kick the ball, or you you receive the ball. We had that whole conversation.
Right.
Did it one way, the gamers did it another. Now the NFL does it that way.
Right.
So and now, what you're saying is that, running backs used to be the thing, you know what I mean? Now they're still kind of the thing, but your receivers are much more of a part of, your draft process.
But it's the dynamic receiver. So no way, shape, or form can you ignore the production of a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, a Cooper Kupp when he's healthy. Those guys can't be ignored. They put up astronomical numbers, and they do it week after week after week. So if you have a player like that you can plug into your starting lineup in fantasy every week, you're going to get numbers from that guy.
But that's also the way the game is played now. I mean, it's much more receivers game. So
that's correct. That's correct. And that's why I'm saying so in reality, you still need balance.
Yes.
But in fantasy, there's still running backs that still put up numbers. I mean, let's face it, if you get 1 point for every 10 yards of rushing, and you get 6 points for a touchdown, and a guy runs for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, that's 22 points. That's a lot for one player.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotta look at it that way, No. Whereas quarterback-wise, how many quarterbacks can you name that you can pretty much guarantee they're going to throw for 300 and throw for 2 touchdowns?
Probably only about a third of them.
A third is a lot.
Well, out of 36, that's 12?
That's a lot.
32, rather.
Right. So if you're in the league with 10 guys, everybody's got one. What's the big deal?
It reminds me that when we did when we were looking at the leagues, and I was talking about the formations. I think we were looking at the teams that, I know what it was. Lamar Jackson. We talking about the teams that he could go to, and whether they ran the option and all of that. And I looked at all the playbooks across the NFL, and the one thing that stood out was that if they had, we'll say, 20 formations, 10 of them were shotgun. right off the bat. Half of them were shotgun. So you can see just from the formation what the intentions are. You know what I mean? Now, of course, they do run out of shotgun, but, primarily,
almost everybody's got shotgun now because all the quarterbacks coming out of college played in shotgun.
Not almost everybody. Everybody.
Right.
So, but it's just how much, it's not like if they had 20 formations, 10 of them were single back, and, 3 of them were I formations and that type of stuff. And, then you have a contingent of shotgun. I mean, you got a large contingent of shotgun and a small contingent of the other formations that would be looking like they were a run for. You can throw out of anything, but looking like a run formation, like an I formation, that type of stuff. So interesting. Okay, so fantasy football running backs. Now, is somebody smart to take the running back from the Raiders and stick him on their team? And even though he hasn't been signed, him and Dalvin
Cook, man,
signed guys.
this whole devaluation of or devaluing running backs and guys holding out, guys want more money and not sure what they're going to do is really, really a thorn in the side of fantasy players. See, in Madden, if the guy holds out, you can still play him, right?
Right.
Yeah, in fantasy, you can't do that because you depend on the guy's real life production. So if a guy holds out, he does nothing for you on your team. However,
well, let me make this caveat because I don't play a lot of live. I don't have really time, but they do it. They do update the rosters, and if you're playing live online, you may not be able to play with that player. May not. I'm just gonna say, but I understand what you're saying.
So that's that. So all they're doing is trying to make it close to the real thing.
Right. Exactly.
But under normal circumstances, if he's on the team, if he's under contract, you can use him.
That's right.
Yeah. So now if you want to take a chance and pick a player like that, so be it. If you think like I think, I don't believe he's going to hold out for the entire season. I really don't. I think he's going to skip training camp and maybe the first game or two, and then he'll sign. And he'll play and he'll ball out and he'll start all over again next year. But I understand why we haven't heard anything about him for the last week or so, because there's no talk going on. He's holed up somewhere, probably at his house, or done went to Europe for vacation or something, and they're not talking at all because he's pissed off. And I understand why. They did him dirty.
The running back for the Colts is also holding out.
They did him even dirtier.
But
I'm telling you,
he's
man,
on the sideline at the practices. He don't have anything. He's not doing anything, but he's actually there walking up and down the sideline.
He's on the PUP list.
Okay.
Because of his foot.
Okay, that's why. Okay.
But this is what they try to do. So look at it this way. If they don't want to sign you to a multi-year contract and they throw the franchise tag on you, you got a couple of choices. You can sign the franchise tag and play like Tony Pollard. You can fight the franchise tag and then cobble together some kind of a one-year deal. Because once the deadline passes, you are forbidden, player and team, of talking about a multi-year deal. So you do like Barkley did, and you try to get a little enhanced one-year deal that gives you a little more room to make some more money than the franchise tag. Or you can hold out for the entire year. Take your chances. The Colts, and this is another reason why I talk collusion. I know we can't prove collusion unless you can come up with a Zoom conference, you know what I mean, where they all talk together. But I'm telling you, that guy, Jim Irsay, that owner of the Colts, first of all, supposedly he's clean now, but you know he was a drug and alcohol dude.
Okay.
This guy owns an NFL team, and he's all spaced out. He's been saying a lot of weird stuff. And he's the one that said the thing about the CBA that we talked about last week.
Right.
Talking about it wasn't in good faith for the players to be talking about, oh, you're not treating us right. So Jonathan Taylor's agent came back and said, it's not in good faith that you guys are acting like you don't want to pay the best player on your team. There is no doubt. There is no question. Jonathan Taylor is the best player on that team.
Right.
Okay? They don't want to pay him. The man said he don't want to pay him. The man said, I'm not trading. I was watching TV just a few days ago. They were in camp. I think it was the first day of camp or the second day. They had a bus out there, which was serving as the owner's office on this bus. And they said they saw Jonathan Taylor go on the bus, and him and the owner were in there talking for an hour or whatever. And when Jonathan Taylor came off that bus, he said, I want to be traded.
Yeah. I remember that.
This guy's a knucklehead. And then he gives some goofy statement. I want to look it up. I should have looked it up so I had it right here in front of me. About if I die tomorrow,
I know.
If me and Jonathan Taylor both died tomorrow, nobody's going to, this dude's not right, man. He's not right. He's not
All
right.
right. All right.
But no, it goes further.
Uh-oh.
So you got the IR, which is injured reserve. You got the PUP list, physically unable to perform. The Colts are trying to put Jonathan Taylor on the NFI list. Did you ever hear that?
No.
It's called the non-football injury list.
That's where they don't pay you.
That's why they have the option of paying you or not. But it goes deeper than that. Remember, I said you can either sign the franchise tag, cobble together some kind of a one-year deal, or sit out the entire year.
Right.
They tried to, with this NFI, they could take away the sit out the entire year option. Because if you miss 6 games while you're on the NFI list, you're not free next year. Your contract is over, but it ain't over. It just rolls over to the next year. And you can't be an unrestricted free agent. They still got you by the you-know-whats. They're trying to say that he has a back injury that he said he doesn't have. And they're trying to say he got the back injury working out on his own, not at the team facility, which makes him an FI.
Wow.
They're lying. They're lying.
Didn't he tweet something like, I don't have an injury or something? Was it him that tweeted something like that recently?
Yes, he said, I don't have a back injury. I did not tell anybody I had a back injury, and your sources are wrong. You need to get new sources.
Okay. Okay. I thought I saw something of that nature. Wow. Wow.
That's messed up, man. Pull out the NFI on him. Come on. That's not cool. He's the best player on. Why would you not want to pay the best player on your team?
That's the conundrum of the running back in the NFL today. It was the same thing with Barkley, and like you said, it's the same thing with the Raiders and et cetera. So, all right. Ben.
Oh, this guy.
It's not even this guy. His name just came up. Who are the people who were running a petition to get the name changed back to the R word? I mean, they have to be MAGA Republicans that want this.
The R word, and we're not talking about Republicans. Or maybe we are talking about
Maybe we are. They should. I'd rather them change it to the Washington Republicans.
You know what? They could do that. You know what? It's all these old people. I got to get on. Usually I'm getting on young people. I'm getting on old people. It's all these old people that have all these old jerseys and old banners and old golf umbrellas and old, yeah, I see them. When we go to tournaments, when we go to flag tournaments down DC, you see a bunch of them things, man.
Okay.
That's their team.
Okay.
And changing the name makes them feel like you're taking their team away from them.
Okay. All right.
I don't agree with it. I'm just saying.
No, that's a good reminder of what could be behind it. That's not necessarily nefarious, but
no, those people love that. They don't see nothing wrong with it.
But that's kind of the problem. They don't see anything wrong with it, So that's.
Did you see what I posted under this?
No.
My comment. You might not be able to read.
Yeah, I did see that.
That's how I feel about it.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Who's your top fantasy quarterback pick, Benny? Are you holding?
Well, it's not about a pick. Mahomes is it.
Is it?
Mahomes is the #1 quarterback in ADP. ADP is average draft position.
Okay.
He is the first quarterback going in just about every ESPN, CBS, NFL, Yahoo, you name it. He's the first quarterback going. And then after that, it kind of varies. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. You'd be surprised how low Burrow is.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of players ahead of Burrow. Probably Hurts and Josh Allen are real right under Mahomes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and most, yeah.
Wow. Well, anyway, you can go to the article on Ben and Barry on football. We have another move up. Victor Bolden of the Arlington Renegades getting an opportunity with the Bears. XFL to NFL. Congratulations. John Lovett of the Vegas Vipers getting an opportunity with the Falcons, moving from the XFL to the NFL. Nick Tiano of the St. Louis Battlehawks, quarterback, going to the Bills, Benny.
That guy's pretty good, man. I remember him.
Yeah, Nick Tiano.
Battlehawks had a good offense.
So he's getting an opportunity as a result.
I'm noticing something.
What's that?
There's far more XFL players getting a chance than USFL players.
Well, I'm hoping that. Well, no. Let me say this. I get a lot of this from our timeline. Now, the XFL might simply be a little bit ahead of the game in terms of promoting this thing. But like you're saying, I guess, well, this is the time. If they're going to get picked, they better be getting picked now.
Yeah, camp start.
The camp's starting. So I really haven't seen a lot from the USFL. And I don't know if the XFL just has a better promo machine than the USFL.
I don't know. To me, I'm thinking the NFL brass kind of looks at the talent levels and they like what they see in the XFL better.
Could be. Could be. Well, speaking of talent levels, we have Abram Smith of the DC Defenders getting an opportunity to go. He was invited to try out with the Bills and the Raiders, so we'll see where he winds up. Now, we'll just mention this because this is kind of a side. It happens in every camp. Fights break out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I guess the Browns had a little more than just one or two guys, you know, with a little scrape. They even had something to show when the Kelsey turned around and tried to cold cock the D-backs, Travis Kelsey. It was funny the way he said I didn't apologize, but I did say that was unnecessary and I would do better, something like that. So,
oh yeah, I saw that play. You know, he caught the ball, he scored a touchdown, and the DB swatted at the ball. There's no reason. I'm sure they had words before that. They were out there probably talking trash to each other, pushing and shoving, you know. And then when he tried to swat the ball away from him, Kelsey slugged him. But yeah, training camp fights are pretty normal.
It was hot out there, and we know it's extra hot. As a matter of fact, who was it? I just saw one team that moved their practice indoors because it was just. I think it was Miami, as a matter of fact, but
that could be.
You know, move their practice. And you know something? It's one thing trying to acclimate to the weather, but the weather's going to change pretty quickly. You better acclimate yourself to that playbook. You better, you know, have your execution down, you know.
Yeah, you can't have your players out there walking around goofy because of the heat.
Right. And they're not getting what you're trying to teach them. So, you know, you got to do that. So, okay, there's a little bit there. All right, Betty, we're going to wrap it up with this. What the heck is going on with Aaron Rodgers? Nobody else's helmet looks like that.
I like the kazoo. I think the kazoo looks better.
Does Aaron Rodgers have Bose 901 speakers in that helmet? Is that why it's
I have no idea.
Oh my God.
It does look funny on his head. But you know, Mahomes' helmet looks funny on his head too.
Does it? I haven't noticed that as much.
On the quarterback show, he said he was going to cut his hair.
Oh my goodness.
He said he's getting a little too old for the mohawk.
I don't. Well, the mohawk ain't changing the shape of the helmet. I'm assuming.
I don't know. The helmet's shaped the same.
I
It's
was.
sitting
I
up on
was.
his head.
I'm guessing that's because he got the speakers and stuff in there that they got the little extra.
No, those things are small.
Oh man. Well then, what can I tell you, man? Kazoo wore it better. I'm going with you. Great Gazoo.
Of course, I look better, dum dum.
Right. Exactly. He gave Flintstone no credit at all. None. All right, Benny. That was fun. Any last words for the peepers?
Oh man. So the game's tomorrow, right?
Games tomorrow, Jets
All right.
and Browns.
I'm the Jets and the Browns, so I'm going to turn it on just to see by chance if any starters play in the first series. But and I just need to see some NFL football. But I know I'm not going to last long.
I'm
By
gonna
halftime,
watch most of it because I'm the guy that when American Idol comes on, I'm the guy who likes to see the early stuff that most people are making fun of because the people are messing up. I'm not
you
talking.
like to see people fail.
Some people like to see people fail, and I'm not talking about and I don't like to see the people with the big egos who think they can sing but they really can't and all of that. And you make.
Right.
I like to see the people who have some talent who get picked for the next round and then have to fight
Okay.
to
Okay.
develop over those next few rounds and
Okay.
actually see them develop.
Well, you're going to get to see that in depth when Hard Knocks starts.
Okay.
Because they always feature a guy or two.
Okay. So that should be
That's trying to make it.
And that's what I'm kind of looking for. Aaron Rodgers apparently wants to play somewhat in the preseason. So he wants to get some snaps in.
He should.
Yeah.
He should. At least one game, he should play a half.
I don't know if he's going to get in on the first game, but he
Probably won't be the first game.
It could be a nice ceremonial start though for him. Let's come out there and start the game.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. I'm sure Deshaun wants to play too.
He's
got a lot to prove.
He's got a lot to prove. Yeah, he's got a lot to prove. Jets, Browns tomorrow, Thursday night. NFL Hall of Fame game. NFL kicks off its preseason.
It's almost time, folks.
Happy. Oh my goodness. And we'll have something to talk about. I'll have some stats to put together, some points and points for and points against us and stuff like that. Oh man, can't wait. All right, Benny. That's it for me. What you got?
That's it. I'm good.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all.